you are. Welcome to the stream. Hearts collide. Hanging with Tim on a Sunday ride. Community strong. Let the love flow. With 3D Canada, let's start the show.
And with that done and over with, hello and welcome to DeWitt 3D Canada. Everybody, my name is Tim. Welcome to this wonderful Sunday night. We do have sound, which is awesome. So, hello for everybody who is here. Hey, let's see who's here. The Ranch Kid's here. Tuxedo. And let's see, Jerry. Sorry I didn't make a stream yesterday, Jerry. We were out and about most of the day. Andrew Humphrey, the class clown, is here. That's your new nickname, Andrew. Bill, Techno Bill is here. SPC 3D is here. Nick, Betty Boop. Hello, Betty Boop. 3D Medic Vince is here. David Walton, Death Cube, Cybertech. Andy Visley, Mad Owl, another GC, another CG. Let me get that right. Hello. I'm doing great. I hope everybody is doing wonderful this fine Sunday night. You'll notice I have a lot of stuff in front of me. I've just been, tonight we're going to be doing some mirror alignment, and I wanted to set up a couple different camera angles to share as much as I possibly can about this mirror alignment experience we are going to go through together. Got my ice cold water beverage here. Once I get them aligned, another CG, yes. Once we get the mirrors aligned, which shouldn't take too long, I'm going to be honest. Good evening, Kilroy's Odessa Woodworking and Maker Shop. Hello. So I got to be honest, I spent probably way too much time last week. Let me move this screen off of here so it doesn't confuse me much. I confuse very easy. Give me 1 second. There we go. That's a better screen to have on there. I spent way too much time last week watching videos on how to align mirrors on CO2 lasers. Have you ever do that where you watch so many different videos, you see so many different opinions, and then all of a sudden you've probably messed yourself up even more than when you started? Well, kind of like that, but not so bad like that. It's not so bad. I learned a lot. I learned a lot watching this. As I say, I've never done this before. Never done this before. Exactly. You end up more confused. Well, I think I've got a pretty good handle on it now because I learned two main things. Two main things I learned that I'm going to pay attention to while we're doing the alignment tonight. Mirror alignment and tube alignment are two different things. Okay, and I learned another critical thing, and I basically took everything that I absorbed watching these videos and kind of pieced it out into a few different rules of thumb. As I say, mirror alignment, once you get all your mirrors aligned, you can move your tube to fine-tune your alignment at your head. You don't have to get your burn dots right in the middle of the mirror when you're doing your initial alignment, except when you get to the last mirror. It's not critical, but it makes life a lot easier if you get your dot as close to the center of the mirror as possible. That doesn't mean you have to go back and realign all your mirrors until you get that done. That means that's when you get to the point where you're going to move your tube. to fine tune that adjustment if it is necessary. So I did a lot of YouTube watching, a lot of video watching from very reputable YouTubers in this industry, in the CO2 aspect of it. Those that have the big, from big CO2s down to these little guys like this. So, anyways, without further ado, we are going to start mirror aligning. So your mirrors are aligned. All you have to do is align your tube. If that sounds like a plan. No, I have to align my mirrors. My mirrors are not aligned. I checked the first mirror. I said I wouldn't do any alignment off screen because everybody wanted to see it live. And I did check the very first mirror. Well, okay, no, the first mirror is out of the tube. I checked mirror number 2, and I'm definitely, my mirrors are not aligned. So I do have to do a little bit of alignment on the mirrors. Hey, GTR Dad. Hey, Big Bad Joe. If I miss you as you come in, forgive me. So 5 minutes or 50, it depends, you know. We'll see what happens. I preset some cameras up prior to the stream to try and get the best view. Just for the record, you were wondering. Okay, that's no problem. So let's go ahead. Oh, first thing before I forget, and I forgot to do it, I did get another liter. Oh, don't see, I got so many wires here. I got to be careful I don't trip over them. I got another 4 liters of water. I got a funnel this time. Matter of fact, an anti-splash funnel. So I'm just going to put a little bit more water so I can get this out of the red and my chiller. We'll start that. And then to align the mirrors, we need some masking tape. We need our little adjustment wrench for loosening the mirror adjustment knobs. And a pen, but I don't know if I'll need the pen or not. So we'll see what happens here. I'm going to try and keep an eye on chat over here while I'm a little away. So there's my funnel for the water. At least this time I won't make a horrible mess. You keep hearing mirror, mirror on the wall. Exactly, Zybertech. That's why I named the stream like that, because it becomes an ear bug, or whatever you want to call those things. So we're just going to put a little bit more distilled water in the chiller here. Why do they fill these jugs so full? I don't know, but then again, I'd complain if they didn't fill them, wouldn't I? So let's just pour a little bit of water in here. Oh, that's a lot easier than what we did last week, right? I just want to get it into the green zone, and there we are. We're in the green zone, so that's good. That's all I need to do for now. We are about, we're about 2/3 up the green zone, so we're good. I needed this last week. It was in my garage. That's where it was. And I need a rag. Give me one. Oh, there's my rags right over here. I got some clean rags. I ended up tossing some of the dirtier ones out just to clean up just a little bit of water on top here. Here we go. Now I'm going to turn the chiller on to be doing this alignment, because anytime we fired a laser, of course, we want to have the chiller on. So hopefully it doesn't get too loud in here. No spilling the blinker fluid. Not at all. Hey, Big Bad Joe, thank you so much. How do you buy a sticker? I don't know, but thank you so much for the $8 shout out. Appreciate that. I don't have my super chat theme thing where it says super chat going yet, but I will. But thank you so much, Big Bad Joe. I appreciate that. Okay, let's move along. Let's go ahead and fire up the chiller. It's going to get loud. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to, I got this extra camera set up here. So the first thing we're going to do is fire and make sure that the tube is actually firing and hitting the mirror. We want to make sure the tube is not hitting outside. So we're going to put a piece of tape on here. I can actually move this camera angle a little bit for you. So we're going to put a piece of tape on here, and we're going to fire the tube and see where the tube's hitting. We just want to make sure it's hitting in there. It's not critical that it's hitting the middle, but it is critical that it's hitting the mirror itself in that circle somewhere. So let's go ahead and fire up the, let's focus this a little bit better for you. Probably right about there. We're going to fire up the chiller, so I will talk a little louder because it is going to get a little loud. Okay. There's my chiller. Beeps until it gets up to pressure. We're going to test our tubes again, make sure they're working, and we are working. We got a good flow with no bubbles. We're going to fire up the laser, which is going to add another layer of noise. There we go. The lights just came on in, which is why you're seeing some light in through here. Okay. So, and I do, just so you know, I am going to wear my safety goggles over my glasses, as silly as it looks, just to be safe because we're firing, but I am going to be turning my head away when I do fire the pulse. And one thing to notice on the top of the machine, I have set it, I did this a couple days ago where I set it so that I'm getting a nice low power pulse to give me the smallest and easiest to see dot possible while I'm doing this. Hey, Zio, she, one, Zio, I can't pronounce that, but hello, hello, hello. Sound okay, not too loud, good. As long as you can hear me over it. Here we go. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the first one, to this camera here. I'm gonna grab my tape. We're using, in this case, just using green painter's tape. And I'll try not to get my hands in the way as much as possible, but I do have to put my hands in here. And we're just gonna go over this hole, pushing the tape so we get the shape of the circle in there. That's not touching the mirror at all, that's just touching the hole that's going into the mirror. Okay, now we're gonna fire a pulse and just see where the dot falls here. Sorry for trying to pronounce, that's okay, I tried to pronounce. I'm just gonna call you Xai, because X-A-I is Xai. Okay, we're gonna fire a pulse. I'm looking at the screen and not the camera, not the tube. Oh, there, we did fire a pulse. Okay, actually, I fired 2 pulses there, but you can see that. So, you can see by this that we are, and I'm not putting my hand in front of the laser at any time. I don't want this thing to self-fire and give me a manicure. We're not dead in the center, but that's okay. We are still firing within the mirror, so that is okay. So we're gonna remove this tape. Now we're gonna go to the next mirror, and I'm gonna try and give you a view right through. I tried to get these cameras set up to give you the best view possible. Forgive the shakiness. There we go. So you can see, there we go. Now is that focused? I'm gonna focus on that second mirror number 2, which is that mirror you're seeing in the background. Right about there. There you go. You see water drip. Oh, right, did you see water drip in here? Where did you see water drip? When I pinch the hoses off to test them, it builds up pressure and sometimes there will be a little bit of a water drip happen. As long as I don't pinch the hoses off and cause that pressure, we're not going to get any water leakage out of there. Nice view the way the light travels. Yes, exactly. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead around the other side. We're going to be doing a lot of back and forth in here, so I'm going to open the lid. That's going to give you even more light. And now I've also got to try and operate these cameras so that from the other side of my workbench here. So I want to show you what I'm doing here. So the first thing I'm doing, here, let me cut to this. Hopefully you can see. So right now, the mirror that we're going to align, we're going to make sure that we're hitting this mirror. We want to align mirror number 1 back here to mirror number 2. We're going to take a pulse in the closest position here in the y-axis. Then we're going to move it all the way back here and do another pulse. And we want those two marks to align. Okay? If the 2 marks are not aligned, the mirror is not going to be aligned. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the first pulse. So the first thing I'm going to do, I'll switch back to that other camera. There we go. And that, you'll get a better view of that once I move it back in. But we're going to put a piece of tape over this one right here. And I can't see chat right now. My back is to it. So if anybody's trying to tell me a tip of what I'm doing right or wrong, that's okay. So we're going to put a piece of tape over this one. We're going to give it a nice little rub down there so that we can actually see the indent of the opening. Okay. Yes, always take the longest distance to measure. Yeah, we want to do 2 distances, and the longest distance is where we're going to line up the dots. Okay, now I'm going to fire the first pulse. You're going to see that happen on the screen. Ready? Here we go. Okay, you can see that first dot that fired, okay? For those that you can't, it's right there. I think you saw it. It's clear enough on the screen that I can see. We might be a little out of, let me fire it once more just to be sure. And there we go. You can definitely see that dot clearly now. Now we're going to move the gantry way back. Okay, and this is where I'm going to switch to a different camera view, hopefully. Okay, now that you are not cooperating. You were supposed to be lined up better than that. There we go. Now we're going to move that way back here. Okay, I don't know how well you're going to see it, but we're going to fire a second pulse from this position. And ideally, we want that first dot to line up with the second dot. Now, actually, let's see if I can get this camera down in here lower. Let's see if I can make so you guys can actually see this fire. And again, I apologize for the shaky camera and all the movement. There we go. You get a good idea where that first pulse fired. Now we're going to fire a second pulse here. You ready? Here we go. Okay, there's the second pulse. You can see it fired a little bit low. Okay. So it fired pretty much directly below the first pulse. So what I need to do is cut back to this and to this. So what I need to do on this, I'm standing behind. So what I need to do, because I'm going to keep this out at its furthest right here, because that second pulse fired low, I need to actually raise that second pulse to try and line up with the first one, the first burn. Pulse, burn, you guys know what I'm talking about, the dot. So what I want to do in that case is, because I need to bring that dot up, I need to actually raise my mirror up slightly. So let's go back around to the back side of the machine here. Come around the back. And I'm going to move this camera out a little bit and just check the chat. One axis at a time for each mirror, yes. Okay. Now we're going to switch to this camera right, this one. Okay. So this is where I get a little confused. Now, I've already cleaned all the hot glue that they put on the screws just so I could get at them without doing it, except I did not clean the hot glue off that bottom one. We have a top right screw here, a bottom left, and the one in the middle adjusts the mirror diagonally, and I was warned several times not to adjust that one there unless absolutely necessary. So I believe I've got this right when I say this one here, the bottom left, is going to adjust my mirror left and right. Okay. Slow leak in the top tube. Oh, okay. Oh, right there. Okay, I see that. Thank you for pointing that out. It's actually coming from the bottom tube right here. I'll have a look at that in a minute. We're not getting any bubbles, but we'll have to fix that. We're going to have to probably drain and recut that tube as we go. So right here. Top one is staying dry, but there is a little bit of a leak right here. Thank you for pointing that out. Okay. Now this one, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to find out. I believe it's this top right one that adjusts the mirror up and down. Okay, so pointing down or pointing up. This one makes your mirror turn left or right. So in this case, we want that second pulse to be higher. So we want to actually bring the mirror up. So we want to basically loosen this screw so it pulls the top of the mirror back. So it raises the mirror. Okay, so let's see if I'm correct on that. And very, very, very tiny movements is what we want. So I'm going to loosen the thumb screw, loosen the locking nut while I hold the screw so it doesn't turn. Okay. Make sure that's loosened off, which it is. Now I want to bring it up, so I want to basically go counterclockwise on this, just maybe a 1/16 of a turn, just that little bit there, just to see if that raised it up a little bit more. So let's go back to the other camera. And let's fire another pulse just to see if that made it, if it moved it any. And it moved it up a hair. See, it moved it up just a little bit. So we're going to raise it just a tad more. Back here. So we're going to loosen this one off just a tad more, counterclockwise. Just a tiny bit. And we'll go back here and we'll fire one more pulse. and not quite, so we want to go up just a hair more. We're going to put a new piece of tape on in a minute just to get a clean view of it. Loosen that off just a little bit more. Do another pulse. And I think I see the smoke, but I couldn't see the pulse, so I think it's right over top of the other one. So I'm just going to go around and replace that tape. So we're going to put a new piece of tape on here. Okay, I got to move this camera up out of the way for a minute. Oh, there we go, because I got to bring it back to the front. I'm going to fire a pulse at the front again. Okay. I'm going to bring it back to the back. And I'll bring the camera back down here so you can see where that pulse fired. Right there. Now we're going to fire another pulse at this position. And it's almost dead on it. Almost dead on. Look at that. Actually, I would call that pretty much dead on to that one. So we are lined up as far as mirror 1 to mirror 2 goes. So we're going to put a piece of tape back on here, because what I'm going to go do now is tighten up that screw to fix it in position. Okay, bear with me here 1 second. I'm just going to move this back out of the way. Let's switch back to here. Okay, I'm going to run around the other side again. A lot of running back and forth here, but that's the nature of the beast. Then we're going to go back to this camera. Oh, wrong one. This one and this one. Now, very carefully, I want to hit that lock nut, but I want to keep a good grip on the adjustment knob so I do not make any further adjustments. So I'm going to carefully get this locking nut back in place. Okay. And holding on to this with a good grip. Sorry, my hands are going to be in the way for a minute here. I got to get the right angle here. And we're going to snug this up. Come on. Hard to get a grip in here. Here we go. And I've tightened that locking nut up. Now we're going to bring the other one forward. We're going to test that again to make sure that we didn't move anything. So you can see through there. We're going to fire another pulse right there. Okay, and then we're going to move it back all the way down the y-axis. Like here. We'll get back over to this camera. Let's get you in closer here. The best angle you're going to get. We're going to fire another pulse. And dead on, right on top of it. So you can kind of see right there on the tape. It's the one, the top one. That's the one we fired. So we successfully tightened up that locking nut without moving that mirror at all. So we got mirror number 1 to mirror number 2 aligned. Now, let's see if I can get this camera in the correct position here. Forgive all the shakiness and the moving around, but it is what it is. There we go. Okay. Down below, if that'll lower, there we go. So now we want to line mirror number 2 up to mirror number 3, which is right here. Okay. Now, some of you are going to say you want to also align. There's different positions we're going to align in, but right now we're concerned with aligning the mirrors in the X and Y axis right now for now. Hasn't moved, looks like on the money. Yep, it's good. Good stuff. Take a piece of paper towel, put under your tube and see if it gets wet. We see drips. Yes, I saw that. There are a few drips on there. I will put some paper towel under it to absorb it so it doesn't build up, but I will, I'll throw some paper towel under there. It's a very, very slow drip. I'll throw some paper towel under there out of the way of the laser so it doesn't fire it up. We'll keep an eye, but we'll look at those hoses after we get this all aligned. We're still keeping the tube cool. There's no bubbles forming because of that. So I think we're okay for now. So now we'll go ahead and put a piece of tape over this one. Okay, mirror number 3. We want to fire this in the closest position from mirror number 2. Okay, I'm going to try and hand hold this camera here, guys. Forgive me if it's really shaky and bad, but I'm going to do my best to hand hold this camera while I fire the tube so we can see it go. So here's the first fire. Okay, there's the first one. That's a little bit of a big dot. I'm going to turn the power down a little bit. And now let's go ahead and move this across the x-axis. Okay, right over there. And we'll fire another pulse. Now this is one where I'm actually, let me just switch cameras and explain to you what I'm going to do here. Where are we? Here we go. So, because the pulse button's right here, and I'm firing off this far mirror, if this mirror happens to be way out of alignment, there's a possibility the beam could fire up over. Not that it is, but it's a safety measure. The laser could fire up over this mirror and possibly hit my hand if my hand is here pushing this pulse button. So for this particular one, for the first one, I'm going to shut the lid. I'm going to fire the pulse, and then we'll open the lid and see where it hit. And then if it hit right on and we need to make some adjustments, then I'm okay with keeping the lid open because I know it's not going to fire up over and hit my hand. So we're going to fire the pulse right now, quick one. Okay, let's have a look. Didn't fire, let's do it again. And I don't see anything yet. We'll turn the power up just a hair. Now it's either firing dead on or it's missing wildly. So what I'm going to do in this case, I'm going to put another piece of tape up a little higher. And we're going to close the lid and just see if we can see where that is actually hitting. I want to see if it does fire. Make sure it's going to fire. Okay, and it is firing. Okay, so my gut tells me, because that's a much bigger, oh, wrong camera here, guys. Again, sorry. I'm Canadian, I say sorry a lot. So you can see it has been firing, but it's been firing almost in the exact position it needs to fire. So we're going to take the tape off, we'll put a new piece on, and we'll do that again. My gut is telling me that these two mirrors are already aligned. So let's have that. Let's look at that. So there's our first piece, okay? So we're going to come back. We'll fire this first one again. There we go. I'm going to get as small a dot as possible. A little bit more power. There we go. Okay. Now we'll move that back to the opposite side, and we're going to fire it again. I know it's not going to hit my hand now. Okay, and it looks like we might have fired just a little bit to the right. Oh, my camera's getting hot here. Looks like we fired a little bit to the right. But I'm going to try that one more time with a smaller dot. Bear with me 1 second. I'm going to put the camera down. Hang on. You're gonna get a weird view here for a second while I put the camera down. I want to try and fire a smaller dot on that. There we go. Okay. So we're going to bring this back to the close position. My camera's not cooperating. There it is. Okay. Sorry for the focus. We're going to fire a small dot if we can. Okay. There's the focus. Okay, small dot. There it is. Okay. I'm not getting a small dot for some reason. Then we're going to go back over and we'll fire again. It almost looks like I'm getting a half moon shape instead of a dot. And I am firing to the right and low a little bit. The start's not in the dead center. No, we'll worry about that in a minute. So it looks like that was firing, the second dot was firing a little bit low and to the left. So I want to try and move the dot up this way towards the one that the first one we fired. So I want to move this one up this way. So I'm going to want to move to the left and up just a little bit. So let's go ahead and set this camera down somewhere where it'll not be so shaky. And right about there. There we go. Okay. So again, this one is going to move the mirror front and back, or up and down. The one in the very back is going to move the mirror left and right. So because I want my dot, we're going to put more tape on anyways, but because I want my dot to move up and left, I want to move this one here, I want to loosen again so that it shifts the mirror up that way. So it aims the beam a little bit higher. So if we're going to start by loosening the lock nuts. Now the one in the back here, this one in the very back is really hard to get at. So bear with me for a second while I get my hand in the way and try and loosen this one. It's not the easiest one to get at. It's actually one of the more difficult ones to get at because there's not much room back here. Okay, I think I got it loosened off. Oh, not quite. It's not. Some of the bigger, more expensive lasers, that side cover comes off. And you can get at these things much easier. Okay, that is loosened off. Now we're going to loosen off this top one. Okay, so I wanted that dot to go a little higher, so we're going to loosen this one just a small turn, and I wanted it to go to the left. So in order to go to the left, I want to bring the mirror this way. So again, I want to loosen that so that it turns the mirror this way. You got to imagine that the mirrors are on springs, and you're loosening or tightening those things depending on which way you want to move it. It takes a little bit of thinking to get it first, but it's not so bad once you kind of grasp the concept. So we'll move that one just a hair that way. Okay, so we're going to put some tape on and try those pulses again. So let's see how this looks. I'm going to check out chat. I see what you're getting at. Wait, it's behind your hand. How does focus... I see, how does focus work? It looks out of focus now. Well, that's what I've got to look at and see. I've got to make sure that we're getting dots. Right now, focus is going to be done mainly through the lens, through where it hits the wood. Right now, we're just trying to aim the actual laser. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring this back around. And I'm sorry, I'm probably far behind on chat. There's probably people telling me different things, but I will catch up with chat in a minute. So we're coming to our closest point. We're going to fire again. There we go. Okay, so we got a dot there. We're going to go back. And we're going to fire again for this. That's pretty much right over top. That hit almost dead on. Yep. So you can see that those I made actually just the nice, just the right amount of adjustment, dead on. Now, the other thing that we have to look at now, let's go do another 2 pulses just to make sure. Okay, let's come back here. Let's just double check these again. Again, guys, this is my first time ever doing this, so there's the first pulse. Okay, we'll go back and second one is dead over top of the first one. Now what we do notice now, and this is where I saw that it was critical, is that we want this to be a little bit more centered, okay? So to be centered on here, we actually have to have that go up a little higher and to the left a little more. So in order for that to go up a little higher, we need to raise our tube slightly to get that to go up. Because as it is right now, the mirrors are all in alignment with each other. But the tube is out of alignment now because we want this to bounce in the middle so that when it hits the mirror and goes down through the laser head, through the focusing area of the laser, we want it to hit dead center in the actual laser itself. So if that makes any sense. This is the only time letting out the magic smoke is okay. Yes, okay. So what I'm going to do, let's switch back to this guy. Here we go. I'm going to put this camera's getting hot for some reason. Anyways, that's okay. So what I'm going to do is go around back. I'll put the camera around back, and we need to raise the tube. And I don't know, I believe the left and right is the one that confused me. So getting the dot higher and closer to the center of the circle here is easy. You raise the tube to do that in order to fire your dot a little bit higher. Oh, first of all, before I do that, sorry, almost forget, guys. What I got to do first is, before I make any adjustments there, I need to tighten up these lock nuts again. Just about forgot that. So we're going to hold this grippy grip with my hand. We're going to snug up these nuts. And attempt not to move the mirrors. This back one's tricky. Okay, let me, oh, that's not tightening it, that was loosening. Okay, I'm going to reach back in here. I'm going to tighten this one up, and then I'm going to test pulse again just to make sure that I'm not moving anything. Okay, they're snug. We're going to do another test here to make sure. Okay. So I'm putting this back on here. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and bring the x-axis back over. Okay. Oops. Man, there we go. We're going to pulse. We're going to bring it back over. And we're going to pulse. And we didn't move. Wow, they might have moved slightly, but I'd say we're right in the same spot. We're right on the same spot. Okay. As I say, now our goal is to move that mirror, the tube, to get this last dot as close to the middle as humanly possible. Okay. And we're going to go around back the other side of the laser. Whew. I am sweating. I need to get a drink of my water. Let's see if I catch up on chat. I get the feeling I'll have to readjust mirrors once again. You move the tube. And that's, Bill, that's what I thought too, Bill. But apparently you don't. Once the mirrors are aligned, they are aligned. And it's hard to wrap your head around it if you think about it. But the laser coming out of the tube, it's so hard to conceive. But every video I watched of these guys that are big into CO2 say, no, once your mirrors are aligned, they're aligned. Now you move your tube to get your beam to hit the center of your third mirror. Let's see. And I think that Kilroy would probably agree with that, because see, Kilroy obviously has a CO2 lasers, but okay, we're going to do that. Everything is hard to wrap your head around these days. So what we're going to do, I'm going to turn the laser off to do this. So we're going to get a little quieter. I'm going to switch over to this camera. I'm going to zoom this one out. So we're going to zoom this camera out. I know it's blurry, it'll get better. There we go. There we go. You raise the front to raise the laser. You raise the front and back to raise the laser. Well, from what I saw, I can actually just, it doesn't have to come up much. It's very possible I can just slightly loosen off these two screws that are holding the front of the laser down, and loosening these two screws off is going to slightly lift the laser. The left to right, let me get another camera in here to show you. For the left to right, here, let's do this. Okay, so I can slightly loosen off these two screws that are tightly holding the laser down. The other way to raise the laser is to put a thinner layer of material in underneath it. But I think that just loosening these things just a quarter turn, because I don't need to raise it up much, is going to work. And then there's 4 screws on the bottom here, these 2 here and 2 more in the back, that are holding this in position, that I could actually loosen those off and shimmy the laser left or right. I have a feeling I need to shimmy the laser left in order to make it left onto that circle. So this first try is going to be a little bit of trial and error on it. So we'll work with that for this first go round. Tuxedo, not that I was, not from the videos I've been watching, no. And it's such a minor adjustment either way. So I'm going to bring this camera up a little higher. We're going to try. Let's just wait and see. Let's try it and see. I'm just going by by the dozens, and I mean dozens of videos I've watched on this with the different methods. But this, moving the tube has always been the same. The higher end machines actually have screws on here that you can screw to raise or lower your tube from the front and or from the back. And I only ever saw them adjusting the front ones when they had to raise the tube just slightly. The wire pinched against the tube? Not really. It's not totally pinched because I had moved that wire. But I'm thinking that just loosening that just slightly, if I can find the side, oh, that's not a wrench, it's a Phillips screwdriver. Hang on one sec. And I could be wrong here, but as I say, I'm just going by the videos I've been watching. So I'm gonna loosen this one. About a half turn. Loosen this one. About a half turn. The tube is still solid in there, but I'm not pinching the tube as much. All we've done is release the clamp about a half a turn. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fire the laser back up. Trial and error and the cursing. There we go. So we'll fire the laser back up. I'm going to go around. Okay. Let's go ahead and grab Mr. Shaky Camera here again and switch to Mr. Shaky Camera with wires all over my head. And let's see where we fire now that I've made that slight adjustment with the tube. Okay, we are a little bit, it did raise it just a hair. Not much. So we definitely have to come up a little higher because center is about, I don't have a pen on me to mark it, but we definitely want to come up a little bit higher. So let's go back to this camera. Now I may have to actually shimmy that bottom up a little bit. It's possible. So it's quite possible I have to actually undo it and put some more spacers under there. Now, one of the cool little cheats that I watched in one of them was they took some post-it note pads, sliced it into thin sheets, and then you can take however many you need and use that to raise your tube up on the bottom. Just put that little bit in as a shim. That way you've got a multi-thickness shim you can work with. Hope we'll hear some Canadian curse. Not really. Looking for it. No Canadian curse here. So we're going to power off the machine. Okay. There's definitely a little bit of a leak there. I think what I'll do, there's a little bit of a drip happening on this bottom fitting here. So I'm going to power the chiller off for a moment. Oh, I can hear myself think. This is a blessing. I'm thinking I might want to fix this little drip issue prior to doing the alignment so that I don't throw anything out of alignment. Now to drain, I don't want to have to drain the whole chiller. I think I can just drain the inlet from here and that'll drain the actual tube. So let me grab something to drain into, actually like this bottle that I just used. And I'm going to try and get the inlet tube drained. Let me switch to camera views just while we're doing this so that you can actually, oops, wrong one, this camera right there we go. The chiller is loud. Would it help to zip tie around the tube? I wonder, I thought that to myself earlier if I put a little zip tie and I don't have to tighten it tight. But I don't, because it's on there quite far. So that might not be a bad idea. It's on there pretty good. That part of the tube is very thick. Let me try that with a small zip tie and see. That might just work. That might just work. Oozing from the top onto the bottom? Really? Huh. Let's see. I'm just going through chat here in case I missed anything interesting. Oops. Or a copper wire twist. I think let me just have a look. Let me investigate here where the leak is actually coming from because you guys have a different. So let me turn the chiller on and have a look. Whoops, I can take my safety glasses off for now. They're both on there quite good. Well, let's just see something. If I take a zip tie, let's do the bottom one first. Dun, dun, dun. You need really small fingers to get in between these things, you know. Hey, Brent Ferguson. Now let's see if I can get this down. I'm going to need some tweezers to help me here, some tweezers to cheat because my fingers are too big to reach down under here. Being very careful because I'm working around glass. So yes, being very careful. just hard to feed this under. Okay, there we go. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna get this bottom one. We'll get a zip tie on the tube there. Okay, there's one on the bottom. It's like a hose clamp, but we don't want to put a hose clamp on there because a hose clamp would be far too tight. And one more zip tie. On the edge of your seat, really. And then we'll do the top one. That way we kind of take care of both of them just in case. I saw it coming from the bottom, you guys saw it coming from the top. And there we are around the top one. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that now. We got zip ties around the top and the bottom of the where they attach to the tube. So we're not going to drain that at all. We're just going to let that go. I think that's going to work. Let me quickly pinch the tube. Well, a little bit of drippage, right? Okay, so hang on. It is. Oh, maybe that was just some leftover drippage. I don't see any more drippage happening there. No, no more happening. Okay. Okay, let me turn this off for now so I can hear myself think. No, I don't think the glass is down. I think that was just a little bit of leftover drippage. We're going to see. We're going to keep an eye on that. And see. But I don't feel any more drippage. So we need to raise this tube a hair. Not much. So I've got to loosen these off. I'm going to put a shimmy, a little bit of a shimmy in the bottom. It's going to be around... I'm going to start with about what looks like about a 1/64 of an inch, if that, and we'll shimmy that tube up a little bit. So this is where it takes a little bit of patience. So I'm going to close that lid. We're going to loosen off these clamps. Okay, I don't need to take them right off, just got to loosen them off. Okay. So we can just move that around. Now I want to see, so now we can see the tube is moving up and down. I want to take my shim and I want to try and get my shim. It's very tight in here, but I'm going to try and get my shim underneath that white. I don't want to put the paper right against the tube, but I'm going to try and get this shim right underneath. I don't need that much. So right about there, we're going to get this underneath that silicone base. So I'm going to lift the tube. Come on, get in there. There we are. And we're going to, there we go, and push that in. There we go. We got the paper under there. Now we're going to snug the tube back down. Hey, Icon. The shimmy's not to help with the leakage. I don't know. We got to keep an eye and see what's happening if there is actual leakage anymore. Now we're going to snug the tube back down. Okay. And okay. Tube is snug. Okay, let's do a fire and see what happens. Let's not do a fire, but let's fire the tube. Okay, safety glasses back on, chiller on. Let's check and see if we get any leakage when the chiller goes. It's dry so far. Okay, laser on. And let's go back around the front. Let's see if that moved the tube at all. See if that moved our beam at all. Okay. I'm going to... Oh, you guys got a really weird camera view there of something. You got a view of my belly. This camera's got a mind of its own. Okay, I'm going to put some new tape on the other end. Okay, let's bring the camera around. There's our target right there. Let's fire it and see what happens. Ooh, see, we did move. So we didn't move a lot. We're pretty good. We are almost, I would say that we moved just the right amount, because it looks like we're centered from top to bottom. And I think we just got to move it to the left just slightly. Now, just to show you that that didn't throw the mirror alignment out, what I'll do is we'll bring this back over to here, and we'll fire it again from this end. Whoops. Come on. There we are. Sorry about that, folks. We'll fire it again from this end, and that should be dead on alignment as well. And it is. So you see, that didn't bring the mirror alignment out of alignment at all. All it did was move the beam in conjunction with the mirrors. So this one here, we are pretty close to dead center. I would say we're really good up and down. It's hard to see that little outline, but we're really close to up and down. Now I just need to move the tube to the left. So let's get this camera back around. Let's switch back to the main, and let's just go like this, there. And I'm just going to walk around here. I'm going to turn this off, turn the chiller off. Whew. You don't realize how loud these things are until you actually turn them off. So, I mean, high school when you're playing with lasers, yeah. There's apparently, I watched another video where there's a tool, it's called a reverse alignment tool, where you actually put a red laser in your head of your laser head. You put a red dot, and it's reversed. You line your mirrors up backwards with a red dot. Anyways, so what we need to do here, and this is a very small movement. Let's go back to this display, this one here. So what I'm going to do here is, as I said, I can take my safety glasses off so I can see in proper color. There are 4 alignment screws, or four bolts. These back ones may be tough to get at, but if I loosen these, I can shimmy the laser left or right. Okay. Again, the higher end lasers have adjustment knobs for these where you can do that. I just need to go a tiny bit left. I'm just eyeballing in here to see how hard it's going to be to get my hex keys in there. Let's just see. I think that was they look like they're about a 2.5 millimeter. No, they're bigger than that. So they're 3 millimeter. Okay, so let's just loosen. Okay, and then we'll loosen this one. Though this one looks like it's already adjusted as far as it can go. And that's where perhaps, let's see the back. It's possible I have to bring the back of the tube this way to get a little bit movement from the left. Now, I am guessing that I have to move the tube to the left to actually get the dot to move to the left on mirror 3. That's a guess. My first time doing this. Now that wrench is not going to reach, and I cannot reach those inside ones. I cannot reach with. How am I going to reach those? I got to figure that out. My hex key is not quite long enough to go in there And it appears that those are right under the tube. Okay, so let's see if is there a different way? Is there a different way to move this tube? The back ones, okay, I'm going to try something here. Oh, and there is a bit of a water drip there still. So something is still spewing some water out. Okay. And maybe I'm being overly fussy because the left movement is so little. But let's just see, if I loosen the back of this tube off, if I can get a shim in the back just to pull the tube a little bit towards me, that might be good enough to do. I don't want to mess too much with the front because we got the up and down just right. So let me try one thing on the back here. Some kind of buzzer to get my attention. Try reading chat. Oh, okay, hang on. That's why I got to stop and read chat. Why would you move the tube for a left, right? Why not your mirrors? Because the mirrors are in alignment already, and it was suggested once you get the mirrors aligned, don't touch them. The object is don't touch the mirrors once the mirrors are aligned. You need to use the tube to get that last mirror to be hitting, the beam to be hitting that last mirror in the center. Every alignment video I watched said that. Check tape on the nozzle. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I think that last movement is so small. It could be good now. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Jerry. Yeah, Jerry's got CO2 lasers, so he would know. So I'm gonna try that, Jerry, because that last movement is just so small. I may be overthinking it right now. So, well, let's try that. Okay. Safety glasses again. I'm dry. I'm very dry mouthed tonight for some reason. Too much talking. Okay. We're gonna get loud again. And this on. So we'll do what Jerry suggested. We're going to do a tape. We'll check and make sure, see if it's hitting through the nozzle. And worst case, we have to adjust the mirror on the head now. No, you don't have to stay out of it. No, 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 no. I have zero experience as well, Andrew, but I just know from what I've been watching on the YouTubes for the folks that have these. Folks like Jerry who have these lasers. So what Jerry's suggesting, which is the next step, where's my camera, is to, let's get this camera over here, see if we can't get this camera to cooperate and point where I want it to. Here we go. And we'll get this down a little bit, and right about there. So, as we want to now put a piece of tape on the bottom of the nozzle, to see if we're actually getting the beam coming down through the nozzle. So let's give it a test fire and see. And we do have, whoops, we do have, there it is. Come on, come on. Can you see that little, look at that. It did hit, but it's not center. We want to try and get that centered, which isn't a big deal because that was on there that way. Whoops. So Jerry, you're a genius telling me to do that because it is firing through there. Trust me when I say I want to actually lower that. Now, these mirrors are a little trickier to adjust because they kind of go backwards and upside down. So you think about it. I want that dot to be hitting a little further this way, okay? So instead of, so basically for the up and down mirror, which is this one here, I want to actually tighten it to move that mirror down I want to actually loosen it to move the mirror up, so I move my dot to my left. Aha. So let me fire another one just to see if I can get a little darker, because I'm only firing at minimal power here. There we go. Let's turn the power up just a hair. Let's fire it. There we go. Oh, we're firing a little outside of it too. That's weird. I got two dots. If you look, right there. For some reason, I got two dots. Let me put something underneath here, a substrate under here, just see if I can get a. Let me just fire something on an actual piece of substrate here. Give me 1 second. So I am getting, whoops, there we are. I am getting an actual laser beam, focused laser beam onto the substrate. Let's see if I can get that focused for you. That camera sucks for this. Let me go a little higher power, because that's very minimal power we did that with. See if I can, here, let me bring this camera down and onto the wood that I'm focusing on. Here we go. Let's turn the power up a little bit. See, we are getting the beam through it, but we're not quite hitting where the red dot is hitting, which is where it should be hitting. We're hitting a little bit off center of that dot. I'm going to check chat. Time to engrave something like your supplied local tool, focal tool. The nozzle move when you attach the tape, maybe settle. Oh, true. That could be true, because there is a little bit of movement here, right? So I just want to have a look, and that is a very fine burn it's doing there. So let's fire one more here. Let's turn the power up a little higher. We're only about a quarter power rate here. And it is firing and burning just fine. So maybe I'm overthinking this. Maybe we just need to do a test piece now that we have everything kind of aligned. Yeah, okay, let's get back to this one. There we go. Oh, this camera is a pain in the butt, I gotta tell you. So, well, let's test something now. Oh, actually, truth be told, where's my camera? I lost my focal test piece. I don't know where it went. But I want to do what's called a ramp test. But I'm going to, my focal piece was, the focal length on this is basically from the bed to here. So we're speaking of focal length here of about 18 millimeters. 18 and a half millimeters is what I measured. And I actually made myself a little bit of a ramp test gauge here. But let's just try a quick engrave on something focused at as it is right here at the 18 millimeter mark and see what happens. But I actually have to get my laptop plugged in because this thing runs on light burn. So here we go. This is when I want to turn the machine around so I have a better camera angle. So we'll see. Let's go back around here. And let me check with chat again. And I'm just going to turn this off again now that we're pretty much aligned. There we go. Oh, that is so loud. Do a ramp test, then cut a piece of acrylic. Yeah. So let's do, that's a good idea. What time are we at here? We're at, oh, we're only an hour in. That didn't take me as long as I thought, considering I have to run back and forth to this and read chat and everything, keep up with chat. Tighten your bolts around the tube. I did. All the bolts around the tube have been tightened, so the tube is in a good position here. So I think what I'll do first thing, now that we're not going to play with it anymore, I think I'll just put the cover back over the tube. Yeah, I don't know where I put the little focus piece that came with it, but we do a ramp test anyways. From what I was learning and reading from watching all these videos is that 90% of the little focus pieces they give you, 90% of the lasers people have tested, they're out of focus anyways. They do a ramp test to find the actual true focus on it. And the ramp test is kind of cool. I'm going to see, I'd really love to be able to swing this around right now. let me move a couple things around here so that I can, this camera I don't think I'm going to need right now, because it'd be much easier for me to show you the ramp test and get my laptop in place, which has light burn on it, if I can actually swing this machine around. From 20 to 18 millimeters. Yeah, so you were out by 2 millimeters on the focus based on their suggested focus piece. And that's why I kind of made this little piece. Oops, just dropped my camera. That's why I kind of made this little piece here. Did this thing just shut off? Did I just knock my camera? Come on. I want this camera. There we are. Okay. Okay, so let's see if I can swing this around. I've only got such a length of tube here from the chiller. Let's get rid of this camera. Put that over there. Well, I hope that gave you at least a sort of an idea of the how we align the mirrors. It's a tedious process. Fortunately for me, they weren't too far out of whack, and I only had to move the tube a little bit. Now, I don't want to do too much burning on this because I don't have any outside exhaust hooked up to this yet, because I haven't got this in its final resting position yet. So I'm going to turn it this way, like so. Okay. And then we're going to turn the chiller at the same time so we don't run out of hose. This I'm going to, yeah, so let's turn the chiller. Chiller's heavier now, obviously, because it's got like 10 liters of water in it. Here we go. And I know the chiller's going to be on the opposite side, but there should be enough hose to get me by. Let's just move these wires over here. No, let's just leave that here. Okay, I'm going to go around the other side so I don't drop this off the end of the bench. I need to actually move this camera. I need to get this camera out of the way. This was all just brought in here to give you guys a better view. So bear with me while I work through this. There we go. And I can move this just down here for now. Now I can complete the movements. Is this going to fit, or do I need to bring that chiller on the other side? Yeah. That's not going to fit. Okay, so I need to be strong. I need to be very strong. Let's see. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. There we go. Okay. There. Chiller. There we go. Okay. Let's make sure we have power to everything. Power to the chiller. Okay. Power to the people. Okay. Don't worry about exhaust right now. My camera. Let's bring the camera back up. And we're going to get the laptop, and we're going to hook the laptop up and get a ramp test going. Okay. Whew, let me look at chat and see if anybody's thought I was going to drop everything. Get your exercise for today. Yes, strong like bull. How many liters in that chiller? About 4 liter bottles to about 10 liters. About 10 liters of water in here. So somewhere on the laser, we have USB-C port right over here. My laptop. Oh yeah, by the way, and I haven't mentioned it, I think Jerry did. I'm so sorry, guys. Up in the top left corner of chat, there is the link to enter the Polymaker draw. Also in the description. Go ahead and enter the Polymaker draw. We're going to do that in about 15-20 minutes. So you can win some Polymaker. It is nice that it has two handles. I don't think I'd want to bear hug and manhandle this thing. It's pretty heavy. Pretty heavy. Okay. My laptop. Okay, I'm going to get tight here because I need to have a spot for my laptop. And let's just, don't fall. Let's move this over. There we go. Limit my ability over here. There we go. And we'll just kind of rest you up on top of the chiller. And we're going to bring the laser over further. Like so. And I should be able to handle my laptop right here. Let's just, there we go. And there we go. Okay. My laptop is right here. We're just using an HP laptop that I got from Costco about 5 years ago. It's fine. All it's running, all this laptop is running is Lightburn. And we'll just plug it in. Plug it in, plug it in. Okay. Right there. Because of course the battery's not charging to its fullest capabilities anymore because it's an old laptop. And then we'll plug the USB-C into the side of the laser. Turn the laser on. We're going to get, well, let's open the laptop first. I can't share this screen, so I can't show you what I'm doing. I do have Lightburn on the main computer, but I'm having issues with my USB ports, so all I can do is kind of explain to you what we're doing here. Now, if you want to see what we're doing and you have a minute, if you just go to YouTube and look up CO2 laser ramp test, you'll see exactly what we're doing and how we're going to get the laser in focus. Or determine the best focus point or focal point for the laser. Just trying to get this tripod. There we go, because I'm going to actually use this camera to point down into the laser while we do the ramp test. Okay, hopefully that's the goal. There we go. Okay, so let's turn this on. It's going to get a little loud. And the chiller. So we get to get loud again. So now what I'm going to do is, let's open this up. I am going to, let's see if I zoom out here, in, out, there we are. Okay. Hopefully this is going to be easy to be seen what I'm going to do here. There we go. Okay. Let's go ahead and switch over to this camera here. That's awful bright. Can I turn my... Anyways, I'm taking the grid off of here. Hopefully I have a piece of wood I can fit down there. I think I should. Let's see, where's my offcuts? This might be a little bit too big. Yeah, that's going to be too big. I should have an offcut here somewhere. Hang on one sec. Yeah, keep some scrap pieces of wood around, Tim. You might need them. This should work. This should work. Doesn't have to be a big piece, but it's just got to be... Basically, you put a piece of wood, you angle a piece of wood from top to bottom. We align our head so it's just, so the head is just about touching the wood. So I'm going to prop the wood up a little bit, and we want the laser head itself to just about be touching the wood, and that's basically, do you see a hole in the floor? A hole in the floor. That's where a manhole, it's sort of a hole, yeah. It's sort of a hole. Thank you, Kilroy, for posting that. It's hard to explain what a ramp test is, But basically a ramp test means that you're going to take your laser, you're going to have it almost touching the top of your wood, you're going to burn a line, and of course at one point your laser is going to go out of focus, the line is going to be really thick, and what you're looking for is you're looking for the thinnest part of that line is your actual focal point for the laser. So I need to find a little bit of thing to shimmy it up. Here we go. We got some little offcuts here. I want to darken the image on this camera a little bit, so hold on. Let's go back to this. Okay, let's go back, and I want to basically just go, there we go. Okay, so if I put that back onto this, okay, that's a little better. It's not as bright. So there's two steps here. So the first thing I want to do is kind of shimmy this up so that I can actually get the head almost touching the wood. Right about there, the head it's almost touching the wood. And then what's going to happen is we're going to burn a line down the piece of wood. It's going to go out of focus, it's going to be in focus, and then out of focus again. And the object is to find the cleanest part of the line or the thinnest part of the line, which would be our focal distance. And of course the trick is that once we find that focal distance, don't move the wood until we get a measurement from it. So, isn't that a tripping hazard? Yes, it is. Is the bed, if the bed is aligned with the gantry? Yes. So I'm going to go into light burn here. Let me switch this over here. I'm going to go into light burn. I can't show you light burn on the screen, unfortunately. Why is my computer not coming on? Oh, it is coming on. Oh, why are you not coming? There you are. Reboot the system. Yeah, okay. Whatever. Whatever. Okay, just waiting for the laptop. I wonder, let me see. I'm pretty sure I have, let me see if I put light burn on this computer. I did. Now I wonder, okay, let's see if I have, a USB-C. I'd rather show you guys what's going on. Alt F4 enter. I'd rather show you guys what's going on if I have a, let's see if I have a lengthy USB-C cable here. Give me 1 second, it's worth the wait. USB-C extension cable. Oh, a USB-C extension cable. That might even be better. Let's see. Now I just need a USB-C to USB-C cable. What's all this USB? Oh, this one here might work. Okay, let's see. I'd rather actually show you guys if I could get this actually live on screen. So let's just see what I can do here. Here to here. Okay. And oh yeah, this will fit. Okay, so maybe unplug the laptop one. Let's plug this USB-C in. Okay, let's see if I can get it, let's see if it recognizes the machine on my USB-C on my computer. Okay, closes the current Windows programs. So if I do this, I can share my display. There's light burn. Let's see. So let's see if I can find my devices. I believe this is my device right here. No, that's XTool S1. Find my laser. Next. There's an updated version of Lightburn, I know. There we are, scanning for connected devices. They should be able to find my laser. 111 Fahrenheit, oh my goodness. Let me actually start the machine again because I plugged it in. I want to make sure I'm in a proper port, which I am. Okay. It should find my laser. No, doesn't look like it's going to find it. I'm new to Lightburn too. Okay, let's see, COM4. It's not finding it. Okay, let me unplug for now. I'm just going to unplug my my XTool so in case there's a COM conflict, which I doubt. Oh, it is hot in here tonight. I'm pretty sure, I don't think this extension, I am plugged in fine. I'm plugged in directly to here. Jeez, camera. Yeah, it would take some adjustments though, Jerry, I'm telling you, for me. Let's plug you directly in. What's this one being plugged into? Let's take that off. Let's plug you directly into this USB port. Now you should be able to find the laser now. USB-C, USB-C, we're in, we're in. Okay. Come on, Lightburn, what's going on? Let's go to Device Manager, see if I'm... Excuse me, guys. Lightburn is burned out, yeah. Huh. Oh, I may just have to go from my laptop. Jeez, let's see if I can, I'm just gonna see if I can find it on my laptop. All my cameras just went out. What the heck is going on here? I've lost all my cameras too. What the heck? Oh, lordy. Did I just turn this camera off? What's going on? Hang on one sec, guys. Jeez. Why did I lose my main camera? Come on. Please. There it is. Okay, thought I lost my, well, I did lose my camera. It's back. Is there device drivers you need to load? Shouldn't be. Oh, let me just see if it'll work on the laptop. I think the laptop's got the newer version of Lightburn on it anyways. We'll see. Let's just give me a sec here. Oh, let me move this down so you can see I'm actually here. Okay. Light burn. Come on, boot up. We'll do the draw in another 5-10 minutes. We'll do the draw for Polymaker, guys. Okay, almost done setting up my PC. What do you mean? Remind me in 3 days. Yes. Okay, let's start light burn here. Now let's see if I can connect. I'll bring a camera over here and see what's going on. Newer version is available. Not now. I don't want to download it yet. Devices. Gerbil. Monport K40. It's there. Can I home it? Let's see. See if it works. COM3. What COM port are you on? 3, 7, or 6? Ah. That's not finding my laser either on the laptop, and it did before because I tested the rest of the motion system on it. So for some reason it's not finding my laser. See if I power this off and maybe power it on again and then do a search for it. It just found it last time, like boom, real easy. Isn't that typical? Nothing wants to work for me. I broke it. Time to put it in the bin. Yeah, no kidding, right? What the heck is going on? Why are you not? You were working last week. Find my laser. Should be COM3. Okay, let's restart light burn. Patience. Sometimes patience tries you. Waiting for connection. You're plugged in. You're plugged in. You're plugged in. Why? Why? USB. Says ready. Laser ready, but it's not doing anything. Well, obviously, let's try the computer again, because obviously it's not the laptop. Okay, we are connected. Well, I'm sorry about this, guys, but I don't know why this is not letting me connect. Nothing works for you, we're related. Yeah, I'm going to turn this chiller off just for now, just to have that little less noise to distract me. I'm not burning, so I don't need the chiller on right at the moment. Let's go to devices. I'm going through the proper procedure to find it. That's my already in use. Now I don't, let me unplug that one. I don't think it's gonna be a port conflict on here, but let's unplug that one. And then, it was a USB hub issue. Devices, let's see, find my laser, next. And it's not finding it, it's weird. Cancel, cancel. Okay, let's just go ahead and let's just see if it'll find it on a different COM port. This is where me and PCs don't get along, because I don't get the issues that you can have with COM ports and all that crap. Man, that high-pitched noise. It doesn't require the chiller to be on to connect to Lightburn, no, because before I even had the new tube, I had it connected. Before I had the new tube, I had it connected to the laser, and I was moving the gantry around in Lightburn, so it's nothing to do with the chiller and all that. No. Okay. No. Wow. Okay, so I'm going to leave the USB connected and power cycle the laser. Yeah, I was just reaching over to do that. Man, that is loud. That high-pitched loudness on this thing is that air pump. I may actually replace the air pump on this thing. Okay, wow, it's nice when it's quiet. Always use the same port with a USB serial device. What if you have two lasers hooked up to the same software? Actually, what I'm going to do, let me remove, I don't run my S1 out of Lightburn anyways. Let's remove this one. Let's remove that laser. There we go. Let's remove it so there's no lasers in Lightburn, so there's no conflict. Okay, let's open this stuff. Hi, Russ. Yeah, that's what I'm going to look now. I have COM5. It's only letting me choose COM5. So I've deleted my S1 from the COM5. Okay, so I've got no device. So if I go under devices now, there's no devices. Okay, the only COM port, the only COM port that is available under here is COM5. Okay. So let's go ahead, now that I've deleted the other device, let's go ahead and say find my laser. Let's see what happens. And it's not finding it at all. Now I'm going to try one more thing. I'm going to plug my laser into the port that my S1 was in, which it recognized. could be a bad port on my computer. I've been having issues with my ports on my computer lately. So let me unplug this, plug that in down here where my S1 was plugged in. Let's make sure my connection is secure here, which it is. Now I am using an extension, a USB-C extension, but that shouldn't make a difference, but who knows, right? Okay, let's try. Find my laser again. I think you're so right, Brent. And nothing. Okay. Oh, Brent Ferguson, thank you for saying that. Let's do a draw. We got the light laser aligned. It's fine, but oh, we achieved the goal for the stream. The bonus was supposed to be doing a ramp test, getting the focus, and actually cutting a piece of acrylic or something. So, some USB cables are just power, no communication. Yeah. Okay, I will, let's do the draw. Then I'm going to find a full-length cable. I have tons of cables. They're just in a box. We all have that box full of cables. So I have one that'll work. So let's do the draw. I know everybody here has entered. We're going to do the draw. That's something that will work. It will work. That camera is way over. Oh, man. I'm having like a moment tonight with nothing working the way it should for me. That camera should be right about there. I'm just looking on the ground. Yeah, let's do the draw. Then we'll find a cable and we'll see if we can get this working. Okay, guys. We're going to close the draw off. And there it is. We are going to say disable the draw. Yay! Let's go to the inbox. Let's see how many people have entered. I don't want to say 50%. Thank you. We have 40 entries. Awesome. Okay, we're going to go to the inbox. We're going to grab the list of names. We're going to grab it. Not the first time or the last. No. I don't have AC in here. No. It's called a window. And this window can't open because it's where my lasers exhaust from. But the window in the back in the laundry room area is open. It's just hot here today. Okay, we're going to download our Excel. We're going to downloading. There we go. Successfully downloaded. Let's go to my downloads. Let's open the spreadsheet. July 13th, almost halfway through July. Can you believe it? Today's the last day of Calgary Stampede as well. Okay, we downloaded it. Did we open? And there we are. There's our list. YouTube names. Let's highlight them all. Boom, 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 boom. Chuck-a-boom. There we go. Copy. Control C. Let's bring up our wheel, which is right. Close you, close you. Where did you go? Don't you do this to me. There you go. And our wheel, which is right here. There's the wheel. Congratulations, whoever's going to win. And let's paste in all the entries. There we go. Okay, guys, I need a number between 1 and 3. It's got to be between 1 and 3, a number between 1 and 3. Okay, I need a number between 1 and 3. 2, 1.5, 2, 2. Okay, good. So 2 it is. We're going to shuffle the wheel twice. 1, 2. And good luck. Let's see who's going to win tonight. You got to be present to win, and you got to send me a present to win. You just got to be present to win. Let's see who it is tonight. Dun, 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 dun. Oh no, not the class clown, not the class clown. Oh, Andrew Humphrey, the class clown, you are the winner, and I know you're here because I think you said 1.5. Oh, let's see. You did. You said 1.5. Wow, look at that. Just like that. Congratulations, Andrew Humphrey. You win the filament for this week. I think this is your first time winning. Congratulations. Usual stuff. I will email you tomorrow with the information to claim your prize. Disqualified. You got to talk to Andrew about that. Just because he said 1.5 means he's disqualified. So I think what I'll do, and congratulations, Andrew. I really mean it. Well deserved. Well deserved. You've been following me forever. So good. Your time has come. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to sit here nicely. And for those of you that want to stick around and watch, you're more than welcome to stick around and watch. I understand if you don't because we've accomplished our goal today, but I want to use a little bit of time and I want to get this thing connected. So I think what I'll do is I will download the newer version of Lightburn. There is an update to Lightburn. So let's see. Where's Lightburn? Is there a way in here? I'm very new to Lightburn. You're leaving, it was rigged. There you go. You guys can all leave if it was rigged. You were in the next tap on the wheel. Oh man, it sucks when you're so close. Is there a way in Lightburn to say check for updates? Help. Check for updates. Is available. Do you want to download it? Yes. Download be handled by your browser. We may as well, why did that window just switch over to, what is going on? Where did my stream go? There you are. Okay, so don't update? Why? Why? No, don't? I figured if I update, then I can maybe, at least I'll have the latest version. Is there a good reason I shouldn't update? You probably use Lightburn, Kilroy, so you have to close Lightburn to update it. That's fine. There's 2.01. I don't think I have to reboot the computer, will I? Does it help that you blew on the wheel? It does. I don't know why I believe that you would actually blow your screen on the wheel. Some that had issues here may have updates and been fine. I'll leave it to them. Automatically close the applications. That's fine. Let's just do the update. I've still got it on my laptop, the older version. So launch Lightburn. Finish. There we go. Okay, end loser license agreement. Okay, I'll accept the end loser license agreement. Okay, find my, oh, hang on, cancel. No sense trying to find the laser if it's not turned on. Let's turn the laser. Oh, actually, I was going to get a different cord. That's right. That's right. I gotta find a longer cord so I can plug one cord rather than have that extension cord. So bear with me while I go over here. I know somewhere in here. You know what I'm going to do? The heck with this. The heck with all this searching around. I'm going to take the cord. Let's unplug that one. Let's plug this one in. Let's steal the cord. Not steal. Steal's a harsh word. Let's borrow the cord off my S1 laser here because I know this cord works. Because I run my S1 laser with this cord. So let's borrow, if you'll allow me to, let's borrow the cord from my XTool S1, and this should work. Okay, let's throw this one off to the side. Let's plug that in, turn this on. Let's see if that works. If this doesn't work, it's an issue inside the machine, but this should work. They just released 2.01 to fix the bugs in 2.0. If you do have issues, you can uninstall 2.01 and reinstall 1.7.08. Okay. The version I just installed, let's just close that. Let's cancel. Oh, it won't let me do anything without putting a laser. I don't want to have a device yet. Create a dummy machine. No, let's just go back, create a device profile. Find my laser. Next, let's hope it finds it. There it is. It found it. See? So it was obviously the cable. Okay. Just go ahead and add device. Millimeters per second, cool. Inches per second, yeah. We're going to call this device Monport K40. I believe it is 300 by 200 millimeters, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's 300 by 200 millimeters. This bad? You know, that's a question you'd think I would know. But let's just measure it just to make sure. But that sounds about right. Yeah, it's about that. Yep. We're good. Okay. See, never give up. Never give in. Just means I may need another USB cable. USB-C cable. Okay, next. Rear left is where we home. Auto home laser and startup, why not? Sure. Next. USB serial and finish. And okay. So now, oh, laser just homed. Okay, so let's go ahead and test this. Oh, sorry, you're not. You can't even see the camera. Here we go. This one, cut. Now, if I move my pointer, laser's moving. If I home, laser's homing. Okay. So now, here's where I get to. So there's a couple different schools of thought here. Okay. Couple different schools of thought. Those of you that have CO2 lasers, tell me what you think. Now, we have a power dial on the laser. I can turn that power dial all the way up, so it's basically saying, okay, 100%. Then I can control the power and light burn. Okay. GT2. I'll look at that in a sec. Or I can turn this power up only so high, and then, you know what I mean? Monport's 40-watt desktop CO2 laser engraver compatible with light burn and laser gravable software is equipped with a 300 by 200. Yep, perfect. Mic check. Mic check? Is it dead? Don't die. Mic check. 1, 2. Mic check. Hello, hello. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hear me? So, I think I'll do that for now. I'm going to turn this right up. So basically we're at full power, but I'm only going to use a certain percentage of power in light burn. So what I need to do, from what I understand, ramp test, we have our wood set up like this. I need to bring my head over so it's just touching the wood. I will do that with my controls. So I'm going to take my pointer, I'm going to move my head over here. Okay, I'm going to move it up a little bit. It's got quieter. Oh, really? That's weird. Let's see what's going on. Let's see. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Decibel 6, 3. Is that any better? I don't know what's going on here. Wrong mic active. Oh, let's see what's going on. Settings, microphone. No, that's the. Wow. It's got the right microphone active. Can you hear me now? Is it any better now? At all? It's the noise canceling due to the laser. Probably, yes. So anyways, so from what I understand on this now, I need to draw a single line. So where's my line tool? I'm very new to Lightburn, so I think it's my pen tool. A single line, shift key, draw a single line. Oops, what the heck? there, and escape. Louder, go louder. It got louder for a sec. Huh. I don't know what's going on, but I'll try and talk a little bit louder then if that'll help, because I haven't done anything to the mic. The battery is still good. So let's see if I -3, 0 decibels. Now is that any louder? Did that work? Did that go a little bit louder? I don't have the chiller on. It's just the printer. So we have a line. Okay. Um, this line, we want it to be an engraved line. So this is a line. We want it to be a line. Also, the distance between your mouth and the mic makes a huge difference. Let me move it up closer to my mouth. There we go. It's a little bit closer to my mouth. We want an engraved line. We want it to be, I don't want 100 power, so max power, I'm going to go 30%. Speed, I believe they used, most people are using 200 millimeters a second. And it's closed now. Much better. Okay, good. Okay. So there, so I need to find out where the starting point is. Right there. We're going to move the line over a little bit. Oops. I got to get used to using Lightburn. Now we're going to find out where the starting point of the line is. Right there. Okay, and the end point of the line is right there. We're a little crooked on our wood. There we go. So I'm going to make that line a little bit longer. Okay. So I'm going to show you on the laser now. There we go. So you'll see what's happening. We're going to start our cut, our line right here. Pick the right tool, Tim. Right here. Okay, right near the beginning. Actually, I'm going to go even a little bit closer. I'm going to nudge that over about that far. And we're going to start it right there. Okay, and then what's going to happen is it's going to burn a line all the way down to there, if that makes any sense. Move the piece of wood a bit. Yeah, it was off center a bit. Now, actually, I want to raise that wood just a hair there. So let's go to the beginning. Right here. There we go. So we're not quite touching. We're very close. We're about 2 millimeters from the wood, but the focal length is going to be in around 18 millimeters. Okay, so I've got the line. We're going to fire it at 30% power. It might not be enough. Well, let's go a little higher because we do want to get a decent line. Let's go 40% power. 200 millimeters a second. Constant power mode. And it's a line, one pass. Okay, we'll do a frame just to see where we're going to go. And that's it right there, just up and down the piece of wood. The camera angle creates an illusion, yeah. Let me move this camera so you can actually get a better idea of what's going to happen here. There you go. So you get a little better idea of what's going to happen here. So when I do a frame, and actually it's a little bit bright. Let me lower that. Let me darken that image a bit for you. There you go. So now when I do a frame, it's strictly going to run down, and that's it. Okay, so let's go ahead and put my glasses on, because we have the lid open, so we're going to put our safety glasses on, but I'm not going to even look at it. I'm going to look at it on the screen, and we're going to go start. And I got nothing. No line. Okay, so let me try something here. Let me do a pulse and see if we're going to even get anything. Okay, we are getting some laser, so let's do that again. Let's try with a little higher power then. Let's go to 75%. Okay, let's try this. Let's frame. No. It's not where I want you to start. Your eyes. And back up here. There we go. Okay. Okay, let's do it again. Let's see what happens. Let's go start. It doesn't seem to be firing. Why is it not firing? Maybe I need something other than just a line. Um, Again, it could be something I'm doing in Lightburn because I'm not familiar with Lightburn. Seems to be moving fast for a test. Yeah, I could slow it down to say 50. See if that makes a difference. No, we're not even firing. The laser's not even firing. Okay, so obviously I'm doing something wrong in Lightburn. Let me just check. More power. I'm at 75%. It should be doing something. I've got my... Yeah, it is. There is the lasers. When I do the pulse on the laser, it fires. But something in Lightburn I'm not doing right. So let me double check what I'm not doing right in Lightburn. So it's a line. Fill. Maybe I want fill instead of a line. And it's just one single line. Will that printer fire with the lid open? Oh, I wonder. Oh, you know what? That's probably it. I do have a safety switch here. That's... never thought of that. It pulses with the lid open, but it probably won't fire with the lid open. You guys are too smart for me. Let me lower that power to 50% again. Let me go okay. Let me close the lid. Let me see if that works. Am I in the right position? I am. Let's see what happens here. You guys were right. It worked. Can you, come on, camera. You can see it. There you go. You can see the line now. You guys are too smart. Okay. But I went and did what I shouldn't have done is I took this off the laser. So I'm going to turn it around. We'll do it on the back. But it did fire. You can see right when I turn it at an angle, you can see there it fired. And you can see our focus is going to be up in this area somewhere. Okay. So let's go ahead, bring that up. Let's do this again. I think we have enough power on that. Let's go ahead and align this. Okay, let's bring this over. I want to bring that a little closer to the head, so I'm going to put one more piece underneath here, right there. So we're just touching the head, but I don't want it to start quite there. So I'm going to move that line over here and light burn. There it is. Okay. Let's align the line right there. Okay, we're not quite touching it. Let's do a frame. Okay, I'm just going to move the angle of that wood just a hair. Okay, let's do another fire. And let's go ahead and start. Okay, and we got a line. I don't know, let's see if I can zoom in on that a bit better. You can see the line we got. Okay, so I am going to take, very carefully, I don't want to move this. Now, what I need to do is I need to find the smallest point in that line, which is basically going to represent the focal point. Where's my pen? I need a pen. Here we go. I don't want to move anything. So I'm going to put it, I said I don't want to move anything. Ah, for frig's sake. So I'm going to put it right about there. I'm going to jog my laser head over to that point. I know I might have moved something, but okay. I can move it by hand a bit now. So I want the laser head to be right over that spot, right about there. Should have taped it in place. I know. Bring my little gauge up. Oh, and it's too high. So I'm going to have to manually measure that. But let's do another one, and we'll tape it in place this time, like you guys said I should have, which I should have. That way, guaranteed not to move. Okay, hang on. Let's do this. Let's do this the right way this time. Okay, let's tape that, and then we'll put another piece right across here. There we go. So it's not going to move so much. Okay. It's home. Let's move to the start position. Okay, I know that moved, but that's okay. We're in a good spot right there. Try this again. There we go. Okay, we got another line. There's our other line right there. Okay. So I'm going to visually eyeball. We are right about in that area right there. So now I'm just going to manually move the head right above it, right about there. This way doesn't matter so much. Up and down is what matters. And basically what I'm doing is I'm eyeballing my line, which is my focal point, to the center of the laser. Okay. Right about there. Now I need to get a measurement from the top of this to the bottom of that. Now there's a couple of ways to do it. This gauge I had, I thought it was going to be closer than that. But based on this gauge, I am looking at about 9 millimeters. It's just a hair. I'd say maybe 8.8, 8.9. So I think 9 millimeters is going to be reasonable for that. I'm going to call it 9 millimeters. Okay. Let's go ahead and home you. There we go. We can take all this out. When you put a cork coaster on the bed, it's perfect for the laser. Thicker items need a focal distance when engraving. Interesting. So 9 millimeters. We can try something out here now. Let's just see for fun. When we put this bed back in, how far is the focal? See, when you put that bed back in, the head is 18 millimeters from that bed. So now there's a couple different things. I do have the, where did I put it? I have an elevator lift thing. I put it somewhere, but we're just going to try a quick, I just want to try a quick engrave of something. I'm not overly fussy. I just want to just engrave something. So we're going to throw some wood in here, and we'll throw another piece of wood in here to test the engrave, and we'll just try and get us to 9 millimeters on the lens, which is right about, actually, that's a little high. So let's take this piece out here, and we'll put a couple thinner pieces in there. I just want to engrave something little just to make sure that this is actually going to engrave. So let's put these two pieces in. And not quite. And we'll put one more in here. And we are just a hair lower than 9 millimeters. So we're going to throw this in here like this, and we'll engrave something on this little piece of wood. We'll just have to figure out where it is. And light burn, again, I'm winging it here. I do not know light burn. I do not know light burn. So I'm just going to take a wild guess as to where my framing is, right there. So if I start right about there and I can engrave something. Oh, see, and I'm not used to that stupid pointer thing. Anyways, let's just find something really quick to engrave first. I'm going to engrave some text. Yes, yes, that's what I'm going to do just as a test. So light burn, text, we have this. Our text tool. Put it there, we will engrave. Let's just do a quick engrave of something. It doesn't have to be so big, so we'll go here. I have no idea what power to start at. We're going to go fill. We will, because these are stronger, I'm going to go 30% power. And I will go 200 speed. I have no clue. Anybody wants to pipe up, that's fine. It did come with a focal stick, Jerry. I lost it. I don't know what any of this stuff means yet. I've got to learn light burn a little bit more. Okay, I want to make sure that this is actually going to go where I want it to go. So let's just see where my wood is. And so I think if I go here, right there, If I make that my starting point, we'll move our wood. Okay. And then let's frame it. Look at that, it just fits. Just fits. Let's go ahead and try burning that. Danger. Do line, not fill, no exhaust. Oh, good point. I'll do a fill on a little wee piece. Yeah, the exhaust. Okay, let's do a line. Good point there, Jerry. Oh, just about messed up there. I just about filled the house with smoke. Line. Okay, we'll do the line. We'll do it at 30%. We'll do it a little higher if it's just the line. 40%, 200 millimeters a second. Let's just see if it works. Let's just see if it works. We'll frame it again to make sure we are where we are. Okay, there we go. Danger, danger, Will Robinson. Okay, let's go ahead and or I'll leave it on this view here so you can see if there's any smoke coming out the back. Let's start. Oh wow. It's a safety glass here I can look through. And it's engraving beautifully. Oh, whoa, whoa. Okay, just a little bit, just a little bit. Whoa. Sorry about the smoke up there. There was a little too much power. Yeah. It's a little too much power. It's okay, we won't do that often. But it worked. Way too much power. Thank you for telling me not to engrave, Jerry. Yes. So there we go. So it's working. I don't want to, let's just close that. And let's shut that off. Whew. Okay, I think, oh man. It's okay, it's all safe down here, no fires. They'll probably be able to smell that upstairs eventually. It's working. It's the reason we have smoke smell in the Midwest. Hey, when I vent my stuff, I have the vent going out here all the way to my backyard. I bet my neighbors hate me when I do this. I have realized CO2 lasers are much more powerful. A 40 watt CO2 is much more powerful than a 40 watt diode. Hence, I could probably get away with 10 or 5% power for something like this. I swear it did. Look, that was what did I do? 40% power. And if you look, can you see it on there? Let's see the back. It's not showing. Hang on a sec. Let's do that, and then let's see if this will focus on it. Come on. See, it started to come through. 3 mil wood. Those burn marks there, you can see where it did the flashbacks. That's where it was starting to come through the wood at 40% power. Like, holy crap. That is a strong laser. Oh, and I didn't run the chiller. Okay. Fortunately, it wasn't for that long, so okay. See, Jerry, there's so many things. It's so new to me that I have to learn, run the chiller, do this, lower power. Whew. Yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean, Bill. Is there a thing to do that? Can you do a plugin like that so that, what I need to do, what I really ought to do is I ought to have Jerry come on the stream with me, and Jerry can be my eyes and ears with the chat while I'm doing this sort of stuff. Maybe, and I'm sure Jerry would be open to this, maybe next week when I actually want to burn or cut something, I'll invite Jerry on if he has the time and he wants to pop on, And then Jerry can be my moderator type thing, and he can say, hey, don't do that, or hey, idiot, don't engrave. Just do lines instead of engraving because you haven't hooked your exhaust up. So yeah, and like, hey, turn the chiller on and all this. So no harm done tonight, other than maybe a little bit of smoke smell upstairs. But that's okay. I'm going to eat now, and this makes me hungry. The smell of burning wood for some reason. But few things I got to learn is that yeah, much more powerful. I'm surprised it came through the back at 40% with that speed at 100, at 200 millimeters per second speed. So I'm learning much more powerful laser. What I'm going to do now, we're going to wrap it up. For next week, I will have this stuff all put back over here in its home. I will have the exhaust hooked up so that we don't have that magic smoke coming out again. But God, I love that smell. Yeah, I'm going to try and hook my little elevator lift up so that we can have a way to focus, do an actual focus on the laser. And I might actually do another ramp test just to confirm, because that is definitely a lot lower focal point than the focal stick that they had given me. So yeah, CO2 equals real fire hazard. I have, all the videos I watch talk totally about that, how much of a fire hazard a CO2 laser is compared to a diode laser. Exactly. This does not have a fire alarm cutoff system in it. So this is the type of machine. Fortunately, it's a small bed. I can't do a majorly big project on it. This is the type of machine that I would not even go sit on my couch right here while this is running. I would be here while this is running, doing anything. So we accomplished a lot tonight. We got the mirrors aligned. The lasers, it's cutting, it's burning and cutting quite well from what I see. Anyways, sorry, I like the smell of that. But we got a lot accomplished, and thanks to you guys. And yeah, definitely, I'll see about getting Jerry on the stream next week with me as we do some test cutting and stuff. And then that way, if I forget these little things, like, it's a habit. I don't have a chiller for my diode laser, so I don't have to worry about turning on a chiller. So remember that any hot sparks coming out of the back to floor or exhaust. Yes. Yeah. The exhaust I have is it's a metal exhaust. It's a foil. So versus the plastic one I have. So the one that goes into the back of this is the foil one, which hopefully will, and don't forget the leak. Yes, I will look into the leak. Actually, let's have a look right now and see if there's any water dripped out. Real quick, let's just open the back of this and pull the cloth out. And no, the cloth I had in there is dry. So there's been nothing leaking. I put the cloth in there to catch any leaking, and it's dry. So I'll leave it in there a bit more for the next time, just to see, just in case. Now, is the tube supposed to be purple after all this is done? I'm just kidding. It's not purple. It's regular color. It's regular color. There's my exhaust port right here. So let me, oh yeah, I smell smoke coming out of that. So there we go. So thank you guys. Jerry, I'll get in touch with you. I'll chat with you this week, see if you have a chance, if you want to pop on next week. I mean, I understand if you don't, but that's okay. But I think you'd be a great guest host to have on here while I do some testing. So, oh, I'm hot now. Like, I'm very, I get sweaty when I get nervous, and I got nervous doing this. But hey, at least I can I can run it off my computer. I don't have to worry about running it off my laptop. That's good. Now I have no use for my laptop again. So there we go. Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate you all being here. It does. It takes a village, Jerry, as they say. It takes a village. So, or Russ. Russ, you and Russ. I'll talk to Russ during the week. Russ, you're still here. Russ, I would love to have you on as a guest too, because hey, why not? You and Russ, Jerry and Russ. It'll be the Tim, Jerry, and Russ show. And you guys can say, Tim, get your head out of your ass. You got to turn your chiller on, or you can, you know what I mean. Anyways, guys, thank you so much, y'all, for being here. I said y'all. And I appreciate everybody. And we got a lot accomplished tonight. We can actually start doing some demoing on this thing. I'm going to try and get some clear acrylic this week that we can cut. And so I'm excited to try it. So even got some rowing in. Good job, Bill. Thanks so much, guys. Congratulations again, Class Clown Andrew, for winning the filament. I'll get a hold of you tomorrow with that, and we will catch you guys a little bit later. Take care. Have a great night, and have a good week, everybody.